Welp, it's the day after Nebraska lost to UCLA in a heartbreaking game. So in today's video, I'm going to flip the page and I'm going to address the fan base and answer one question. Where do we go from here? So before we get into it, we have a lot to talk about. That's an understatement. Hit that like button if you support what I'm doing here. And hey, if you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, make sure to subscribe. I post Nebraska football videos every single day through thick or thin. So if you're a diehard Husker fan, make sure to subscribe. You will not regret it. But without further ado, let's get into it. Going over Nebraska football and our loss yesterday to UCLA. We're not even going to talk about that loss. And we're not going to talk about what happened, who played well, who didn't. It's irrelevant at this point. We're going to talk about the future. Where do the Huskers go from here? Well, number one, I want to address the fan base. We deserve better. We deserve better. That's point blank. That's obvious. This is one of the best fan bases in all of college football. We show up every single weekend, 90,000 in Memorial Stadium. We support this team through many losses, and yet it feels like this team's never getting better. They're never holding their end of the bargain. You know, this fan base, at times, they deserve to be critical. I think a lot of times too many Nebraska fans go at other fans for being negative. But when you support a team as much as we do, and you put as much money into the program as a lot of fans do, and they pay for tickets, they pay for NIL at this point in time, they pay for merch, and they're not seeing wins, yeah, we absolutely deserve to be critical. This is a phenomenal fan base. And I'm never going to apologize for being a fan. I'm never going to apologize for bleeding Husker red. But I am really, really disappointed with this program. As you are, as a lot of you guys are, that's okay. It's okay to be disappointed. Okay, I'm still optimistic about the future, but I'm disappointed with how far we are in the Matt Rhule era because I think we should already be at maybe 7 wins on the season, 8 wins on the season, and yet we're not sitting there. So we deserve to be negative. We deserve to be critical because we put money in the program, right? I buy merch. I buy tickets, this, that, and the third. Okay, we deserve to be critical for putting money in the program. They're not giving us any of their money. Matt Rhule's not giving us any of his contract money. He has $8 million a year. So I said all that to say this. We deserve to be critical. I'm going to keep supporting. You're going to keep supporting. But, you know, I saw a tweet yesterday that really ticked me off. It was by Colin Miller, former Nebraska linebacker. And he was basically going at the fan base, insulting them. He said, yeah, it's cool that you guys had 90,000 for the UCLA game, but none of you guys were on your feet. None of you guys were screaming. And I was enraged by that tweet by Colin Miller because that is just it's such an entitled tweet by a former Nebraska player. Again, he was a guy who was a linebacker in the Scott Frost era. For him to blame the fan base for Nebraska's loss yesterday is unfathomable. This fan base supports every single weekend. They show up every single weekend. They pay their hard-earned money for this program, but that's not good enough. You need them to be loud 24/7, but be on their feet 24/7. Again, if you as a team need Nebraska to be loud for every single play in order to be a 2-5 football team, you have already lost. You are mentally weak. So Colin Miller, shame on you. Again, this is a guy in the Scott Frost era. He didn't win too many ball games, but for him to tweet that and go at the fan base and say that he was disappointed in Memorial Stadium, that's disrespectful because the fan base is constantly doing their job, doing their end of the bargain. The team is not. So I want to start off with that. But number two, where do we go from here? Okay, because we still have 3 games left in the season. The season's not over, and I'm not focusing on 2025 just yet because we have 3 more games, and we're going to prepare for those games. But where do we go from here? Well, first things first, you already know the answer. We need to make some coaching changes. Yes, Marcus Satterfield should be gone. As of recording this, he has not been fired. I do expect something to happen very, very soon. Stay tuned. But I do want to see a couple coaching changes. Whether Ed Foley's gone too, we'll see. Garrett McGuire might be gone. We'll see. But things need to happen because at the end of the day, you guys know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. We've seen this song and dance. We know that Marcus Satterfield's not a good coordinator. It's time to get rid of him. You know, Glenn Thomas is likely going to be the interim. I'm perfectly fine with that. Give some juice to this offense. That's all he needs to do. Let's roll. So that's the first things first. In order to at least potentially win one of these next 3 games, you got to make a move. You got to make a move. That is the bottom line. Number 2, I want to see some more players get reps. Some newer players, some younger players get reps. Okay. Isaac Gifford. I've seen too much of Isaac Gifford over the last 3 years. I've seen enough of him, right? Let's get some younger players in the secondary some more reps. Isaac Gifford's a fine player. He's not a great player. Okay. And it ticked me off watching Chasing 3 in the summer when he was disrespecting a lot of the freshmen, saying condescending things to them, saying that he was not going to lose this year. Isaac Gifford on Pro Football Focus has been graded out as one of the worst players on our team throughout the year consistently. Okay. I've seen enough of Isaac Gifford. He's not a winner. Period. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, you're not a winner. Let's get some younger guys out there and give them an opportunity because who knows? Who knows? They might be ready to go. Okay. Let's get Vincent Shaver some more reps. He's a young guy. Let's get him some reps. Let's get Riley Van Poppel in the game. That's a guy who, has only played one game this season. They're just wanting to save his red shirt. You know what? You got 3 games left. Let's utilize him in all 3 of those. Amari Sanders, a lot of smoke around him in the offseason, how good he was playing. Let's see it. One thing I don't like is I'm a guy who posts Nebraska football content every single day, and I've been doing that throughout this entire year. We hear all these things about, breakout players in the offseason, and they don't actually play in the season. I'm tired of that. Let the breakout players play. Get Amari Sanders in the ballgame. Get Vincent Shavers in the ballgame. Okay, get Willis McGahee in the ballgame. It frustrates me so much. So let's get some younger blood here. Okay, and I don't mean to disrespect the seniors, but at the end of the day, I've seen them play. They don't win football games. Isaac Gifford is not contributing to winning football here. Sorry. He's okay. He's not great. He's not an NFL draft pick. I've stood on that all year long. Okay, and I don't want to mean like I'm coming for him specifically. There's a bunch of seniors who are that way. Bryce Benhart's that exact same way. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Ty Robinson's the exact same way. And I think Ty's had a really good year, but he has not won football games. It's not contributed to winning. So I said all that to say this. I want to see some more younger guys come in because they could be playing with some tenacity that clearly these seniors aren't playing with. Okay, so let's get some younger guys in there. Let's make some coaching changes. We need to have a spirited week of practice, man, oh man. Get these boys ready for USC. USC's winnable, guys. USC is not the USC of old. They're sitting at 5-4 right now. They actually have a worse record than we do. We could win that football game, but you have to do the right things. I don't expect to be anybody right now with the way we're playing. Okay, you gotta play throughout the week at a high level during practice. Got to get ready to go, and you got to make some coaching changes. That's the bottom line. Wisconsin's also winnable. They just lost to Iowa in poor fashion yesterday. But again, you got to make changes. You cannot just sit here and do the exact same thing. We're all at the same starting lineup. We're all the same coaching staff and expect something different to happen. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. We've seen the song and dance. So that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So last thing I want to say is, what were we going to talk about on the channel for the next 2 weeks? Because I'm just going to sit in your shoes. If I were one of you guys, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to sit here and watch Nebraska football content over the bye week, with how bad we're playing. So people are going to ask me, Wilson, what are you going to make? I'm going to make a lot of recruiting content. Okay, because there's a lot of good stuff happening for Nebraska recruiting. That's my go-to. That's my bread and butter. That's where I get all my sources, my info, mostly in the recruiting sphere. So you expect a lot of recruiting content over the next 2 weeks. Be excited because there's a lot of good stuff happening in Nebraska recruiting. Just despite the fact that we lost, it doesn't really impact recruiting like you may think. Okay, it really doesn't. We're still going to have a lot of positive developments in recruiting. There's a couple guys we're trying to flip. There's a couple really key 2026 guys who might commit very soon. So be positive, man, because I'm going to post a lot of good recruiting videos. Don't, go in the comment section and be like, we suck, these recruits shouldn't come here. Like, that's bullcrap. Don't do that. Let's turn a positive, page. It's okay to be negative about the team, but don't be negative about recruiting because this is the future of the program, and this is how we can really change this for the long haul. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a little bit of a long bye week. Hurts to have this loss. I know a lot of people are starting to question things. They're starting to question Matt Rhule. They're starting to question the coordinators. They're starting to question the team. That's okay. We're not a good football team. At least we're not as good as we should be. But here's the thing. We have an opportunity to change that. We still have 3 games. The season's not over. We're not giving up. We're not turning the page completely next year. You have 3 games to go out there and execute and try to get to a bowl game. Just takes 1 win. Just takes 1 win. Do it or else. Or else. Then we might have to have some hard conversations if we don't get 1 win of the next 3. All right, guys, let me know down below. What do you think about where Nebraska goes from here throughout the bye week? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, folks, go Big Red, go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.